Hello again, everybody. Welcome once more to Powerline Weekly Video Ministry. This is Richard Ike, and we're on episode number 116. And the title of today's message is The Gospel of the Stomach. The Gospel of the Stomach. Now move into the Gospel according to the internal organs territory, and the last message was on the brain. Now going down to the stomach. Traditionally, I would have explained the workings of the stomach, how it digests food and all that stuff, and give the spiritual parallels to it. But in order to do that, to explain about the types of food being digested and all that stuff, and the spiritual parallels. So since stomach does digesting, I just felt just jump straight into what our spiritual stomach is going to be digesting in this message, and it is a heavy meal. So I'm going to concentrate on the subject to be digested, and that is dealing with the subject of the mark of the beast, 666, and the system of the beast. That's what our spiritual stomach is going to be digesting. I've given two messages on it before. Now, revelation is progressive. We'll see that in the book of Daniel, he spoke of the different beasts that represent different kingdoms. And then by the time we get to the book of Revelation, it now gives the expanse of the vision that originally came from Daniel. When it was given to Daniel, he was told to seal the book for a distant time. But now when it came to John in the book of Revelation, he was told not to seal the book. So which means the understanding of these things are now made fully available unto us. And the reason we don't understand is because we don't seek God, or we seek man. Man using theology, that's in the Western world, everything like theology, Greek and Hebrew, and all that stuff, and you're trying to interpret Revelation, which is clearly written in form of allegory, symbols, and metaphors, the same way God had been speaking in the Old Testament, gives dreams and visions that way. And the Lord Jesus, he was given his parables that way, and in the book of Revelation we see the same things: allegory, symbolism, metaphors, illustrations. So that's the language by which we interpret the book of Revelation, the way God has been speaking. We're trying to use Greek and Hebrew and all that stuff to interpret it. It's like trying to interpret Japanese with Chinese. You'll be lost in translation. You'll not be able to interpret it. That's why people are having trouble with Revelation. Because that's one thing. I have trouble with Revelation. And I understood, in the Western world, everything, theological, Greek and Hebrew and that stuff, that works for other books who get to Revelation. You can't even make it through the door. Now, with that said, I get the first message on the beast system and how it connected to Solomon. And it was in Revelation 13, I mentioned the mark of the beast. And that from Revelation 13, from 17 to 18, or from 16 to 18. And it caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 threescore and 666. And I mentioned how this was connecting to Solomon, because we see in First King chapter 10 verse 14. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon is in 1 year was 600 threescore and 6 talents of gold. So this has a significance to this, because gold is the standard by which value is placed on our currency, the money that we spend. It has its backing in gold. So the gold here is representing the control of currency. 666 is in control of currency. But why is it? What is it? Why is Solomon connected to this? It's not just the 666. It says the number of a man. And I mentioned that six. Lord revealed to me that six is the number of man, because man was made on the sixth day. But you have three sixes. And the previous message that came off after that, I mentioned that Lord revealed to on the same message actually. I mentioned that Lord revealed to me that the 666 is connected to John 10:10, where he said the thief coming to steal, kill, and destroy. That's Satan's protocol, and he's using the 3:6 representing the systems of man to execute, kill, steal, and destroy. But now with Solomon in the picture, there is more to it than meets the eye, because prior to that, the mention of the false prophet. From verse 12, and excited all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And this was associated with Elijah. But Lord now opened my eye to see this. That no, this was a Solomon pattern, a Solomon blueprint, because Solomon was the first to summon fire upon sacrifice. He did that long before Elijah. It's in Second Chronicles chapter 7 verse 1. Now when Solomon had made an end of praying, the fire came down from heaven and consumed the burnt offerings and the sacrifice, and the glory of the Lord filled the house. This was the first time fire came down and consumed the sacrifice, and it was under Solomon, not Elijah. Why Solomon being the blueprint of choice rather than Elijah? First of all, Satan thinks like man. When the Lord rebuked Peter, he said, "Get thee behind me, Satan, for you have in mind the things of man, not the things of God." What are the things of man? Man, like money, treasures, material things. Satan thinks the same way. Money, treasures, material things. He thinks the same way. Elijah didn't have any other possession. All Satan wanted to do was kill him. He didn't have any interest in him. Just wanted to kill him. That's it. Solomon had all the worldly possessions and trappings, wisdom, and a household full of wives, like over 1,000 women. All that stuff. He had all the things. Those things that attract the devil too. So Solomon was a blueprint. He was the first to call down fire, and then he had the gold receives 660 talents of gold yearly. Solomon was a blueprint. The devil copies. He doesn't do anything original. He copies. He's a copy catastrophe. So he's copying Solomon here, not Elijah. I didn't have an earthly possession. He's not interested in him. I just wanted to kill Elijah, and that's it. It was Solomon that is copying. They calling down on fire. They said this is this is Solomon blueprint. But there's more to it. This is just scratching the surface, laying the foundation. Now, in this third message, there'll be a combination. Everything now, a combination and consummation. Everything will now be brought together. This Revelation chapter 13 is significant to everything I'm going to say today. Now, before I go any further, I watched the movie Aquaman. I knew that if Africans saw it, they were going to go crazy, going to freak out, because in Africa, before the coming of the white man, Africa lived in a supernatural reality. So we have knowledge of the supernatural. The white man brought intellectual realities, intellectual knowledge. We had supernatural realities. Now, knew about marine kingdom, spiritual cities in the water. Not you can't see them with naked eyes. The witch doctors and witches and all that stuff. That's where they go to draw power from the dark side and come to the surface. And I saw it was confirmed. I heard a preacher. I think it was seemed like he was either Spanish or Italian or something from his name. He was talking about Satan's kingdom, how it operates, and all those involved witchcraft, how to deal with water. I said, hey, they know about these things. It's been known in Africa. And These witches and wizards, they worship the demons that dwell in the water. They're called marine spirits. And they astral project. They leave their body and go in spirit to these cities and go draw power to come and afflict those on the surface. So, watching the movie Aquaman, when they show these magnificent cities in the water, the Atlantis, glorious cities, I say, hey, if Africans see this, they're going to go crazy. Because these realities have been with us for centuries, thousands of years. Know about these things, the marine kingdoms, how they influence things on land. Now, there were certain things in the movie that stood out to me. That's something that I wasn't paying attention to. But where the movie ended, this Aquaman, he became the king of the seven kingdoms of Atlantis, and then had the trident, and then at the end of the movie, he swam up and then popped out of the water and just paused, and that's how the movie ended. And that stuck out of my mind. Anytime I think about the movie, I always remember that ending. What is it about the way that movie ended? What is it about the way that movie ended? Lord, let that reveal to me as I was researching something else. And a revelation came up. The rise of the beast. Revelation. The Lord revealed to me that that's what the Aquaman movie was symbolic of. The rise of the Antichrist. Say, hi! And I started to see the parallels. He came out of the water holding a trident with 3 points. He froze in the water. And he was now the king of the united seven kingdoms of Atlantis. Now let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 13. Where the Antichrist emerges, the beast called the Antichrist emerges. This is now speaking from verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up of the sea, rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him power, and his seat and great authority. The beast that came out, it was coming out of the water, and it was a hybrid, and it had 7 heads. As I see the parallel, Aquaman in the movie was a hybrid, half human, half the marine entity. And he came out of the water when he had become king of the 7 kingdoms of Atlantis. This beast had 7 heads coming out of the water, and a trident with 3 points, representing 3 the unholy three you mentioned here: the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet that were here in chapter 13. I said, "Aye," because the occult world, they put these things in movies. People don't know. They put these things in movies. They hide it in plain sight. And also showed me this. As I said, so this thing, an illustration of the Antichrist. The Lord ministered to me that now that you know, stop promoting the movie. So that's it. From that moment on, I didn't promote it because I was saying, Aquaman. I said, now I know that it's an illustration of the rise of the Antichrist, the way it ended. I kept thinking of it. There's something about the way this movie ended. Jumped out of the water and just froze. So I kept sticking out. What is it about this thing? They just stayed there. That's the rise of the Antichrist. So the Antichrist is coming with the combined powers of Satan's marine kingdoms. That's why it was hybrid, different parts, different animals all together. That's a hybrid. The Aquaman was a hybrid, and he was the ruler of the 7 kingdoms. What this beast have? 7 heads coming out of the water. He had a trident, 3 points. Right here is mentioned the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. This is going to get deeper. Now, what was I researching? I was researching marine spirits. I wanted to learn more because I was saw a video of a lady commenting on Aquaman. And she began to talk about marine spirit because he was called the king of the marine spirits. I was like, there's no spirit in the movie. They're all physical beings. We know about marine spirits. They don't know about there are forms that are in operation here in America. People don't even know. So they are having free reign because here, land of intellectual, to understand these matters, you have to switch from intellectual left brain to right brain. Because that's the brain in which they operate. They use signs and symbols and all that stuff. The witchcraft, the word of witchcraft use a lot of signs and symbols. If you understand witchcraft, you see it in the movies when they're being deployed. Mm-hmm. That whole thing with the one eye, the Illuminati one eye. It's all things that are kind of things that are used in witchcraft. That's right brain stuff, not left brain. You don't intellectualize. You don't even understand what is going on. You try to intellectualize it. So why I got my attention was because the woman was mentioning the things that the marine kingdoms influence. There was the mention of, I saw two videos actually. The first one mentioned religion, the false religion and false prophets. That one caught my attention. And then later on I saw another video that mentioned that the influence of not just religion, but politics, commerce, entertainment, fashion. Like you mentioned the Little Mermaid. That the alarm just went off in my spirit. Said that all these ones, the people having their daughters dressed like mermaid. That's how those gods were worshipped. And by doing that, their children are being exposed to the influence and possession of these marine spirits. Then they rebel. You know how when the rebellion sets in, that's when they receive the spirits. Mm-hmm. So the religion part is what caught my attention. Mm-hmm. Because I've worked in a major church of a preacher that was receiving power from the marine kingdom, was a marine spirit powered preacher. Mm-hmm. The kind of power I was expecting, I didn't see it, but there was another power he was operating in that I did not know of. Mm-hmm. And these preachers, they are diabolical and they operate, do their wickedness behind the scene, but in the front of the public, they masquerade as innocent, they masquerade as sincere, to the point where when you're told what they do, you won't believe. So now I'm discovering that there's a spirit that empowers them to do these things. Because I'm now making these things and now start to make sense. This man, I mentioned before that I saw a picture of him on the ground and in black and white, and he had 6 is written on his forehead. And it was just later Lord ministered to me that the man had the mind of the devil. And a co-worker who was my enemy, I thought literally trying to destroy me, Lord used that to pass a message on to me, which I could not receive at that time because to me, she was talking about herself. She said, remember the thief coming to, John 10:10, the thief coming to kill, steal, and destroy. Or to steal, kill, and destroy, in that order. But Lord said, I've come that you might have life, have more abundantly. If I don't remember anything else she said, that one statement, I remembered. Because I walked in her office, and she turned to the side while she was talking on her computer, and dropped the message upon me. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, that's you, you're the one. But it was like she was giving me a warning about that man. This is how they operate. Basically, these type of preachers are like godfathers with the Bible in their hands. Let me give a little bit background of their iniquities. They have their evil influences on women and on the men. The men in this environment are just like whims and wussies. And the woman, Jezebel's spirit prevails in those kind of environments. The women are strong and controlling. But I noticed the pattern of the influence on women. And you see, abundance of fake marriages, and that's what I call it, fake marriages. And then later on discovered that they have goons that they send out to, deal with their enemies. They will set you up. If they target you, they lay siege upon you, on your relationships, your family ties, your finances, all that stuff, to cause stress and drive people crazy or drive people into suicide and all that stuff. But with the women, that's the part where that is very crucial. With the women, there's a lot of odd relationships that are showing there. Just like, I wonder how these people, why this couple, why are they even together? Me and my co-worker, the department I worked in, we printed the document from the church. So I read these things. If they know the kind of intelligence that was there, they might have thought twice. But I played dumb. When you play dumb, people reveal things to you. I read the documents from the counseling center. That's when I discovered their marriages were mostly fake. I was set up, like you knew that we made bets on how long those marriages would last, and I usually won. It was my co-worker's general, say 3.5 years. No, 2.5 years, 2 or 2.5 years, no more than that. And I usually won. Because we knew the foundation they were standing on. Oh, mostly marriage is based on lust. Marriage built on lust don't last. So, what do you call it? Printed the documents in the council center, like the review of the two couples about to get married. So I was curious, what kind of review they give these folks? I read the man, one for the man. He said, oh, you do this for the woman, you do that for the woman, you do that for the woman, you do that for the woman. I said, okay. I read the one for the woman, thinking I'll say you do that for the man, you do that for the man. It was everything that they said mentioned for the man, but in reverse. The man will do this for you, the man will do that for you, the man will do that for you. I said, what is there for the man? What's there for him? Everything just the man doing that. The whole thing was the man. What's there for him? The unwritten rule was that the woman's job was to lay down, they spread their leg and supply sex to the man, while the man supplies the material possessions and money and all that stuff. I said, this one is high level prostitution. Just having a living prostitute. So it's only a matter of time that it's not going to be, the situation not going to be desirable to the man. Now the woman, and they start stepping out of the marriage. So the same situations that you see in the world was also there in the church because of this kind of foundation. A house is only as strong as its foundation. The same fornication in the world, you see in the church. Adultery in the world, you see in the church. Homosexuality, you see in the church. Even the man himself is a closet homosexual. Theirs is for secret society ritual, so they can get all the millions to pay their the bills and all that stuff. Take care of the mortgage and all that stuff. Get donors. Everything, even pornography, see pornography in the church, everything the same. And even now I found out that there's even child pornography, and even molestation was there. I knew about the molestation. Later I found out the child pornography. I guess they go together. So some people, they will say, oh, the church is a spiritual hospital. If there's a hospital where people are not recovering, then there's something wrong with that hospital. Take off and leave. However, besides the fact that they have these fake marriages, because I would say the odd couples, they all put these two together. Once in a while, we see marriage that was okay, this one is real, this one will last. But most of the 7 years, I stayed there longer than most of the marriages I saw. They teach the women, or let's say he teaches the women to be gold diggers. At one time, he said, there are so many single women in church. So many single women. He's the one keeping them single. And you're about to find out why. They teach the women to be gold diggers, to go find the rich men. When they go and start digging and dig out their gold, which means they found their rich man, then they will test them. The man will use it to test them. How? Send women to tempt them. That's their qualification, to tempt the man. And if the man fails, then the man is disqualified. My question, when the Bible did God tell us to send women to tempt people? When the Lord Jesus prayed, did he not say, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one? So why is he sending people to get tempted, sending temptation to those people? Which means he is an evil one. That's why I call him, I gave him a new name, Bishop Lucifer Jr. His father is Lucifer Sr. The Lord calls him the dragon. I call him Bishop Lucifer Jr. He's playing the role of the devil to tempt people. But someone will put up an argument. But God led Jesus in the wilderness to be tempted. Okay. Before he went in the wilderness, he received the Holy Spirit, which means he was prepared. He was given ammunition. He was equipped to go to the wilderness to be tempted. So who had that man? Did he prepare those men that they sent temptation that way? Did he prepare them to resist temptation? Has he given them any equipment to resist temptation that he sent them women to tempt them? So that's why there's so many women that single, don't have a husband in the church. Because when they get the man, and first of all, they teach them gold digging. The man, they find, dig up the gold and then pass them through without equipment. It's like sending soldiers into battle without ammunition. You send them to go and get killed. It's like a man, a farmer going into the bush to go and look for harvest in a place he didn't sow. You're sending women to tempt men, to test them. And then the ones that get approved are those cunning ones, those ones the church ones put out of the church world that know how to play the church games, all the surface level stuff. And that's what the marriages get and turn to disaster. Because they are playing the church game, but the real character behind will manifest itself later. But God deals with those men through their children. That think, oh, they're so powerful, they're so good, they're so influential, nobody can touch them. God deals with them through their children. It happened to David. When David know the whole Bathsheba disaster, and they came to give him the judgment that the sword will never depart from his house. How did the sword go to work? Through his children. How about to Eli? When he refused to remind his children, it was through his children that they died, Hophni and Phinehas. They went to battle, died, the Ark of God got taken. When he got the news, he fell into his chair, fell backwards, hit the ground, broke his neck, and that was it because of his children. So children. So you hear of all kind of disasters happening to their children. His son got shot on the chair. Somebody knocked on his door, he opened the door and shot him on the chair. They say, nobody knew. Why would anybody shoot him? It's because of the iniquities of the father. That stupid idiot of a man. It's because of the wickedness of the man knows why his son got shot. It's because of him. But he's so rolling with that marine spirit power, knows how to play innocent for the people. His daughter, the man she married, her ex-husband, was beating her to the extent she ended up in hospital. And that's when the man changed his position on divorce. When the other women were being brutalized, he held on to, he didn't believe in divorce. Until he hit home, then he changed his position on divorce. Hypocrisy of the highest order. His daughter, if this man, this so-called bishop stupid, that presiding idiot, could not spot the monster that his daughter, whose own flesh and blood, was going to yoke herself up with, could not identify all the spirituality, could not see that his own daughter, flesh and blood, was about to yoke up with a monster. How would this select a good man for any of you, any of those single women? Waiting for him, waiting for God to send my husband, send him a good man. His God is not sending anything. All the waste his resource. No that man is going to take it out, take it. Whoever sent from them. All the waste his resource. To go to another ground, go to another environment. The man could not protect his own daughter. Could not save his own daughter from a disastrous decision of man, that monster that beat his daughter and put his daughter in hospital. How much you think that he will give you sound advice to deliver you from such a disaster when he could not deliver his own flesh and blood? Foolish, useless idiot, wrinkled up old man with a face like boom. Stupid man, bishop, stupid. Presiding idiot. Look at that. People are looking to him. This is the man of God. He can't save his own daughter. He could protect his own daughter. Sent his daughter into the arm of a monster, beat her and put her in hospital. That's the one you're looking to. That's the one. Sometimes Christianity and imbecility or stupidity are synonymous. Oh, the man of God. I said it's those who grew up in churches that fall for all this nonsense. Spend the whole life, don't know Bible. We won't teach you all that stuff now. If you learn and mature, you will leave. So I have to keep you a child so that you can keep staying and letting offering and all that nonsense. But somebody said, go people there. So just starting the surface. Now, the Lord ministered to me. Remember, I was arguing with the co-worker, and the Lord ministered to me. He said, I'll stop arguing with him. You worship different gods. That's the first time I heard that mentioned concerning a Christian. Because the first time Lord mentioned that to me, it was concerning a Muslim. But now, concerning a Christian. So I thought, I said, you know what? I think we worship the same God. Because I'm not pondering. I said, that stuff like, I heard that first when I was worshiping, when I was arguing with a Muslim. So later on, I followed the Lord. Okay, what God do they worship? If not worshiping different God, what God they worship? Or minister to me that they worship money. Then everything started making sense. They worship. No wonder there's such open violations of scripture without conviction. Case in point. Jesus is saying, when we are giving, we should give in secret, without announcing it like the Pharisees and the hypocrites, and don't let our right hand know what our left hand is doing. But they'll give and make big announcement of it. It's like, I gave $5 million. Everybody clap. No, so that's the reward. They receive the reward. Besides that, is that really giving money going to get it back with through tax write-off and all that stuff? If you're going to get it back, is that? It doesn't feel like a sacrifice, but I give it and I get it back. It's the government that set up that system I should be thanking. It's like I've taken from the government, and giving, because I'm getting it back. Is the government that is actually losing something. So it's like, someone get 5 million. And then they have parking lot for the rich. I know people who didn't want to go to the back of that church because they hated seeing that thing. Where if you have Rolls Royce, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bentley, they have parking lot for you. A rich man was the one that revealed to me that those are the people sponsoring the church. That's why I had special parking for them. And the Bible clearly says that we should not give special treatment to the rich. And I see that thing is like an open violation of scripture because they worship money, not God. And that worship of money is what drives them and compels them. That's what drove him to build that cathedral. Actually, let me go. Let me go into more details about that. Because I was always curious. They talk about, they want to build a house for God, build a house for God. It's God desperate for a house. And then, paying for the cathedral, It's like, okay, so it was his own desire to build the house of God. It wasn't God's desire. Because if God desire, it is desperate for all these big buildings. Why is he always having people build things or buy things that God cannot afford to make the supply for? But in days of Solomon, he had this made the supply. So I realized, okay, it seems that they've fashioned the God after their own image. Because I knew Black American buying habits. They said Black American preacher. So Black American buying habits. I was in sales for years. I was retail clothing and then I sold cars. Black American buying habits were the same. They always wanted stuff that they could not afford. And that was it. When I was retail clothing, put stuff, they were layaway kings and queens and put down. They used to crack jokes about this thing. Expensive jacket, expensive outfit, whatever. They put on layaway, keep paying till they paid it off and then collected it. So we had so much stuff in layaway. Came to cars, it was the same story. Always want to buy, they will come with the worst credit, but they want to buy the most expensive cars and they didn't qualify for, they could not afford and all that stuff. It was always drama. So, okay, you don't qualify for it, then put you in this. Oh, but that's the one I want right there. So, but you don't qualify. Well, yeah, but I want this one. I want the sun to stay up longer during winter and not be going down by 5:30. Will I get it? No. Even one time a church woman came. And she was determined that God had chosen the Cadillac Escalade for her. Black woman. She anointed my seats, the handles and the table, in order to make that thing happen. I guess for her credit score to change, whatever. I don't know. But she was determined. Eventually, we ended up putting her, I don't know if somebody talked sense to her, ended up putting her in a low base model Chevy Tahoe. As we told her, if that oil thing had worked, I would have asked her, where do you go to church? I'll be there on Sunday. And when she's giving her testimony, I was John. I said, yes, I'm the one that sold the car to her. So come and buy cars for me. Since the God that all that credit is here. I'll bring your anointing oil with you when you come. So, she's in the big building. Struggling to pay for it. It's the same buying habits of Black Americans. I've always known. Always have something that they cannot afford. Struggling to pay for it. It's the same story. But however, the story goes that he told himself that some white preacher, Robert Schuller, he had been to his church, the Crystal Cathedral, and was so impressed by him. The guy took him around and he said, crying, oh God, if you do that through him, why can't you do something through me? And that's when the whole thing of the cathedral came to him. Okay, so it's that black man's jealousy of white man that is in action. Okay, then the white man does, black man wants to follow. If that Crystal Cathedral had been built by some Spanish pastor named Roberto Gonzalez from Guatemala, it will lose value. If it was built by some Asian pastor named Pastor Chong Li from Beijing, China, it will lose value. But because it was built by a white man, blonde head, blue eye, oh, silver head, the white man, one of the Caucasian gods, one of the value escalated, and then I want to have one again. Oh God, I want one again. To the extent, put a noose of death on the neck, on his neck, in order to get it. It gets more interesting. If the man, I wonder if the man, I say, oh no, I don't own this, I'm just the overseer of it. Man is over there, the silver cathedral, he would have changed. Oh Lord, the silver cathedral. If I told him, I'm just the overseer for this one, he said, oh, okay, God, never mind about the crystal cathedral. And say, oh, mine is the silver cathedral. Oh, no, I want the silver cathedral. I want, okay. If I say gold cathedral, I want gold cathedral. That's a so-called cathedral. I was told they had the largest loan of a church. It was bragging right. The Lord ministered to me, that's the largest debt of any church. That's not to brag about. I didn't mention anything about it. The loan was 66 million. But it was originally supposed to be like 26 million, something like that. But then they found something wrong with the foundation. Had to put all those additional millions. The additional million to take care of the foundation and all that stuff. I was curious, the number 66. I said, that rings of flesh. 666, the number of man, do sixes. That rings of flesh. One day I was climbing up the steps, going to the admission office, and the Lord dropped the revelation and caused me to freeze halfway up. So that the reason why the money, the budget went up, those extra additional million, was because the earth itself opened up his mouth to swallow all the money they've been hustling from people, spending from people, bamboozling from people, mooching from people. So the earth opened up his mouth to swallow that money. Hey, I said, I have to keep this one to myself. The earth, they went to the foundation. The earth went to open up his mouth to swallow it. The earth, God mobilizes the earth to do battle. We see it in the first book of the Bible and the last book of the Bible. First book, God told Cain that the earth had opened up his mouth to receive his brother's blood. In the book of Revelation, last book, the dragon sent the flood towards the woman. The Bible said the earth helped the woman open his mouth to swallow the flood. In the middle, inside the Bible, you see, during when the generation were the wilderness, those that were against God, Moses split them up. Those that were against God, the earth opened up his mouth and swallowed them. I said, oh, God mobilized the earth to do battle. I said, when I was wondering, okay, Lord, why didn't you sound the alarm? Minister to me that the people who are protesting, when the church was opening, all those white people who are carrying are protesting, he was speaking through them. Nobody could hear him. He said in the Bible, he dwell in buildings made by the hands of men. So all these people, they keep building these things from their own ambition, putting his name on it. He built this building. He doesn't dwell in them. He dwells in human beings. They want to run and build a fantastic building. He doesn't dwell in. The subject was marine spirit. Let me close on that one. Now, as I read the scripture in Psalm 74, verse 13 and 14, he said, thou didst divide the sea by thy strength. Thou breakest the heads of the dragons in the waters. Thou didst divide the sea by thy strength. Thou breakest the heads of the dragons in the water. Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces and given him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness. The dragon, the Leviathan. I used to have pictures talking about Leviathan spirit. Those preachers who are the Godfather type, they operating the Leviathan spirit. I didn't make the connection. Water, and they were marine spirits. I didn't make the connection. I was trying to minister something to me here, but I wasn't getting it. So I went to Ezekiel and I started reading this and I'm like, wait a minute, this is familiar. But it's always trying to communicate something to me. Now I went to the details. Ezekiel 29. In the 10th year, in the 10th month, in the 12th day of the month, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against all Egypt. Speak and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon that lieth in the midst of his rivers, which had said, my river is mine own, and I have made it for myself. But I will put hoofs hooks in thy jaws, and I will cause the fish of the rivers to stick unto thy scales, and I will bring thee up out of the midst of the rivers, and all the fish of thy rivers shall stick unto thy scales, and I will leave thee thrown into the wilderness, thee and all the fish of thy rivers. Thou shalt fall upon the open fields, thou shalt not be brought together, nor gathered. I have given thee for meat to the beasts of the field and to the fowls of the heavens. He said he will put hooks. The previous one, he said that he was going to break the head of the Leviathan in pieces and give his flesh, meat, given to be meat to the people in the wilderness. Here, now illustrating the people in the wilderness, the beasts of the field and birds on the air, is an illustration of the people inhabiting the wilderness. I'm going to give the breakdown how quick. This is how these men are going to end. Lord, show me this. The fish, the hook, is a situation or situations of people who either they cannot let go of or cannot let go of them. So it's a hook. It's like something they even tell them, you need to let go of this thing, but they won't let go. It's a hook. And what is happening? The fish is taken to their scale. Fish is representing people. Jesus told Peter, I'll make you fishers of men. So those are the that's the Me Too movement will begin. All the other victims, because these men, they've had people killed over the years in secret, have people's life ruined, and all that. So people know about it, but their power to create sincerity is so great. But the help of marine spirit power, that they cannot overcome it. So he will cause all the victims to come. The Me Too movement, all the fishes, they will stick to him as accusations upon accusations. Went down and they pull them out into the wilderness. That's when you get public exposure, media, everything. Everybody run away from you around the wilderness. The beast of the field, that's justice system. When lion grabs an antelope, that's how justice system grabs a criminal, like bites him on the throat, won't let go. The birds of the air, that's the vultures that come to clean the bones. That's like the banking system, the financial institution. They don't care what you're going through. They want, you have to pay them your debt. We'll pay them whatever you owe. Now, as that was not enough, I went to the next chapter. The Lord dropped it again. So now third witness, by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, let everything be established. Ezekiel chapter 32. And it came to pass in the 12th year, in the 12th month, in the first day of the month, that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation for Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and say unto him, Thou art like a young lion of the nations, and thou art as a whale in the seas. Thou comest forth with the rivers, and troublest the waters with thy feet, and foulest the rivers. Thus saith the Lord, I will therefore spread out my net over thee with a company of many people. Remember, I said the fishes representing people. Now is given literal descriptions. A company, I'll spread out my net with a company of people. Those are the accusations coming, the Me Too movement. And they shall bring thee in my net. Then will I leave thee upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and I will cause all the fowls of the heavens to remain upon thee, and I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee. As Psalm 74, I said, those are the people, the fowls of the air, and the beasts of the field. Those are the people inhabiting the wilderness. So Lord is showing me that something's about to go down. Lord showing me this is how this man, this so-called power, with all their title, bishop and all this, that operates in marine spirit. This one, Lord calls me dragon. This is how he does dragon takedown. The protocol of a dragon takedown. There'll be a hawk. Don't go put hawks in them. Situations or peoples that they cannot let go or cannot let go of them. Use that. And the accusations will come. The beauty movement is that with one person accusing, and everybody else will gather. So you use, put a hawk, put hawks. And then the fishes will gather, all the victims over the years, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, everybody will gather and then drag them out. Public display. And the justice system begin to devour, like lion and antelope begin to devour. And when they finish devouring, the birds of the air will come. Banking systems, the financial system, come to clean the bones. That's how it goes now. That's how this dragon goes. That will show me protocol of a dragon take down. These folks operating in marine spirits, secretly Before the eyes of the public, they portray innocent completely. Behind the scene, horned devils. That's the thing with the devils of the world and devils in the church world. Devils in the world, they let you see their horns so you will not mess with them. Let you know that if you try me, I will finish you. But the devils in the church world, they hide their horns, portray innocence. Let me tie it back to Revelation 13. The little time I have. He said, and I stood upon the sound of the sea. This is the dragon. This is the beast. He's receiving power of the dragon. Dragon is Satan. And this is the beast who's the Antichrist. He said, and I stood upon the sound of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. This is Bible's version of Aquaman. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and his authority. Then when we go down to 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Horns like a lamb, speaking like a dragon. That's religion. Religion. Horns like a lamb. That's Christ. Speaking like a dragon. That's Satan. Satan, angel of light formula. That's how these men operate. So now I have the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. So the one on land is receiving power from the one that came out of the sea, the authority of the one that came out of the sea, who himself received power from the dragon, the devil. So you have the air, the land, and the sea, a convergence of kingdoms. That's what is embodying the Antichrist. That's what is running the Antichrist system, the beast system.